It's always lit over at AJsRANTroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to AJsRANTroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erika Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it. There's nobody that has the capacity to get me to shut up about this except for Erika Kirk. And I will say this, like, I am on this journey to figure out what happened on that day. I'm not going to stop unless Erika Kirk asks me to stop. I said early on, if Erika Kirk asks me to be quiet, I will be quiet.
But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, but this is not okay.
It's a no from me, but you know me. I'm just out here saying what needs to be said. We'll be right back after a brief message from our sponsors.
Ooh, I wish we had some sponsors. Oh man, the hypocrisy is real. The hypocrisy, the bull. First off, can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? We good? Pat, how you gonna say you hear me and see me before I'm even on the camera? Oh, you hear her? Okay, I was reading out the side of my eye, and then I actually looked at the comment. Yes, yeah, I'm glad you could hear her and see her in 4K, right? In 4K, we all heard it, right? The only people that can make me shut up is her husband and Erika Kirk. Said it at least 4 times in this over the last 3 months. Said it at least 4 times. You know, empathize with Erika Kirk. Said, you know, she's done. She has a huge undertaking. You know, she lost her husband suddenly, and then all of a sudden she's in charge of a multi-million-dollar organization that has a lot of pull and a lot of power and a lot of clout. And it's just funny how, you know, the woman finally gives you what you want. She tells you to stop. And you think Candace stopped? Of course she didn't. Why would we stop now? The money's too good. Why would we stop now? Yeah, the money's good. I'm up almost 2 million subs. Like, why would I stop now? Why would I put the brakes on the cash now? And let me be clear. I'm tired of talking about this. Hopefully, I will obviously Monday. What time is the stream on Monday? I think the stream is at 2:00 Central Time. I think the stream is at 2:00 Central Time. So if the stream is at 2:00 Central Time, 3, it's 1 hour, right? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do the lunchtime rant during that time and live react to that too, or should I do it the next day? I don't know. What y'all think? Should I? Because I just want to. Hopefully that will be one of the. It won't be the last time, but hopefully it's just one of the final times that I get to. You know, I have to. Also, just a housekeeping. The Wi-Fi been a little cuckoo this morning, so if something goes wrong, we're gonna hope not, Lord. If something goes wrong, I will just pre-record the video and then post it as a live premiere. Anyway, so I should have said that at the top, but I did say it in the chat on YouTube. But in real time, okay. So I'll figure out. I'll coordinate what time it is. I think it's 2:00 there. I think that's what they said, but I'll figure it out. We'll do it. We'll live react, and I'm not interested in Candace live reacting because I think she took the cowardly way out. But we'll talk about all that later. What I do want to start out with in terms of a video is I want to play about half of Erika Kirk's video on Outnumbered yesterday, because it's easy to take a clip, right, and say, oh, well, she's doing this, or oh, she's doing that, or she's not, there's no context here. It's so easy to do that. It's very, very easy to do that. So I wanted to play like a bit more of the interview just so you can see, or so folks who didn't go watch it, her interview with Outnumbered, you can just put it in your search bar, Erika Kirk Outnumbered. It comes right up. It's the first thing in the search results. But because what Candace did was very interesting. She played little clips, and then she took the clips out of context and tried to remix it and paint a narrative that this is what Erika's really doing here. And I really didn't like that. But let's go.
And I have one thing. Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing, that this is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that, but this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing. I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the hand-picked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful and we are human. My team are not machines and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed? If you want to find and pick me apart, go right ahead. I do not care. I don't. This was happening before Charlie was murdered. Both of us have been through the ringer of people.
Facts. So the queen has spoken. The widow has made it clear. Stop. Just stop. Because a lot of the people you're attacking, they don't have access to millions of dollars like you do. They can't hire personal security to escort their kids to school. Lumberjack, don't get blocked. They don't have that access. So you got her answer, right? So now that you got her answer, and she made the request for you to stop, you just couldn't help yourself, could you? Could you, Candace? You just couldn't help yourself. You had to drive that dagger in a little bit more because, of course, this episode was probably one of the most watched in the series. You responding to this interview. And some of the things you said, I agreed with like maybe 5% of it. And then a lot of the other stuff was like, okay, you're cherry picking, or you're just being outright mean, right? You're just being mean and insensitive at this point, right? Because yes, Charlie Kirk was a public figure. Yes, all of that, blah, blah, blah. But even public figures have the right to set boundaries, right? Even public figures can say, yeah, you can't have access to that. And that's their prerogative. You don't have to like it. But people do have the right to create boundaries, whether they're famous or not. Anyway, let's do this. We're going to actually... I don't think I've ever done this before. But we'll test the sound. We're going to actually watch. This is almost at 2 million views. So another cha-ching. Great day. You know, lots of super chats. Lots of trauma and drama. All of that. Anyway. Oh, my bad. Man. The whitewash border, huh? Oh, you mean my Christmas? You mean this? You mean this background? The Christmassy atmosphere that we got going on here? Yeah, I figured I'd do a little holiday something. Thank you. Not coming back from another account. Anyway, let's react to Candace responding to Erika Kirk. And I just wanted y'all to see more of the interview so you would understand that you can paint a narrative, because we know media does this all the time. But if I just showed you what she presented to the world, you would think, oh, Erika Kirk is this deceptive, mean girl who can't be a CEO. and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And so where are we? Let's roll.
Look,
Can y'all hear that right quick? I just want to make sure, because for me, the sound is not coming through my here. It's coming through there. And I just want to make sure y'all hear it.
have been very patient. I do tend to focus on...
Can y'all hear that? Just want to test that right quick. Give me a yes. Give me a yes. I can't wait. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. All right, cool. We can hear it. All right, let's go.
The evidence that's in front of us, obviously asking questions when we come up across something that someone has said and it doesn't add up, or if they lied, create a list. And you guys were coming after me because I was saying, look, we can write into our imaginations how Erika is thinking or how she's feeling or what she should be wearing, but she hasn't actually said anything yet, right? That was my stance. She hasn't actually said anything yet. Give her a chance, okay? And now she is making the rounds in the press because Charlie's book, his posthumous book, is coming out.
His what? What's posthumous? Let me stop being petty.
Out about the Sabbath, and she's speaking about the quote unquote conspiracies as she sits down with a lot of these news anchors. So first and foremost, she's sitting down here with Harris Faulkner, and I just want to show you a couple of clips from this sit down, which is now trending. And she begins by addressing the question, which has been in the air, regarding where Charlie Kirk is buried. That question resurfaced this week in a big way because Milo Yiannopoulos and a few others have asserted with absolute certainty that Charlie has not yet been buried. That's what they're saying. They say they have proof of that. And at first, Harris Faulkner is asking about that claim. Take a listen.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing. This is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that, but this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing.
Okay, so on its face, I actually agree with that. I think that when people are being buried and where they're being buried and how their funerals are done, that is very private matter, okay? So objectively, I agree with what she's saying, okay? But subjectively, because we are dealing with the subject of Erika Kirk and what transpired immediately following Charlie's assassination, this is going to be read as Meghan Markle syndrome, okay? Meghan Markle syndrome, where you want privacy when you want it, but...
What? No. This is not Meghan Markle syndrome. Meghan Markle is a pretentious, self-centered, superficial, pseudo-royal who is known to be a mean girl, who's known to, who created a wedge between Harry and his family. Not the same. She literally articulated why she's doing it. There are people who can't wait to find out where this man is buried so they can go desecrate his grave. Are you looking forward to the TikTok videos where people are pissing on his grave and doing worse? No, it's not a Meghan Markle syndrome. This is literally protecting, keeping one piece sacred for yourself, for the family. Celebrities, famous people, politicians, whatever, in terms of their private life, they have the right to set boundaries. They have the right to say, no, you can't have access to that. That's it. It's not Meghan Markle. This is not even in the same conversation. Such a terrible comparison. Just an awful comparison. Just like, go.
You want publicity whenever you want it, and that just doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work that way. I honestly think it was said best by Bethany Frankel, not related to this situation. Bethany.
Now it gets worse. So now we're going to compare her to a housewife. So we go from the Sussex. We go from Sussex to a housewife. because of course their lives, well, maybe Sussex, because that's pretty high up on the food chain, but a housewife, not the same sway.
Frankel is on Real Housewives, a show, a reality show. And she was referring to one of the housewives who lived her life very publicly, showcased her marriage, was buying tons of Louis Vuitton bags, and they had tons of money. And then when their relationship soured, the housewife basically asked the public for privacy. And Bethany was like, no, this isn't how it works. Like, we were riding with you on the way up. We're riding with you on the way out.
Okay, cool. So I don't know who she's talking about, but if someone's marriage falls apart, and from what I've heard, divorce is like a death, right? You're mourning the death of your marriage, essentially. And if somebody asks for privacy during that time, whether they're a housewife who's famous or a housewife or a husband who is not famous, if they're asking for privacy for a moment in time, because sometimes you do need a moment to process stuff. And sometimes when you're in a really heightened emotional state, and we've all been there, you can make really, really bad decisions. So yeah, somebody being that in tune just to say, you know what, I need you to back off for about 10 minutes. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't care who you are. I don't care how famous you are or not. If you need people to back the hell up for a little bit, back the hell up. Respect the person's boundaries. You don't have to like it. You don't have to understand it. I lost one of my best friends in 2011, 1 month before my mother. I have no idea where that man is buried. Why? And and it was so weird because after talking to one of my sisters, she was like, he was Chinese. So it was like, he's Chinese and they're very private about those types of things. So even though, yeah, you were a close friend, it's still like, you weren't his family. And so it's just a different thing. And not thinking that cultures do and process death differently, right? And so when people don't understand that, I didn't like it, but I understood it. And I reached out to his siblings one time, and that was it. Never reached out again. There was no reason to keep beating them up like, hey, you have to tell me where you're. I don't know. I don't know. And I may never know, and I've made my peace with that, right? But people are allowed to set boundaries. How they see fit. You don't have to like the boundary. You don't have to, but at the very least, if you say you love somebody, you respect the boundary. So yeah, if that housewife, whoever she is, needed a moment to figure something out so she didn't make a bad decision and make an ass of herself on camera, yeah, give her some grace. Give her a little bit.
You don't get to like pick and choose when you want privacy and when you don't want privacy. And subjectively, as it, in the matter of Erika Kirk, this is the same person who had somebody record her over Charlie Kirk's casket.
Okay, so because I gave you a glimpse because she gave you a glimpse into her grief. Mind you, this was fresh. This is when his body wasn't even like fully cold yet. And she gave you that glimpse into the grief. That means you should now have access to everything. Everything.
Was not our business, truly. And I can say that decision was made by her. And there is, some credence to the claim that everybody grieves differently. I wouldn't even record myself over a casket ever, okay? Some people maybe perhaps want to.
That is your personal decision. And I respect that. I wouldn't either. My personal belief on funerals is that they are very private. I remember at my mother's funeral, a family member had up an iPad recording. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why do you want a documentation of this moment? I don't get it. I don't need a documentation of this moment. I was there. It's forever here. I'm all right. I'm all right with it. It's here. I don't need a picture of it. I don't need a video of it. I need to be reminded. My mother wasn't a famous person. I'm cool. So yeah, we all make decisions. She made a choice to share a video. So because she shared a video, you should have access to everything? No.
Have that memory. But the decision to publish that, you crying over your husband's casket, and to publish his dead body on Instagram was a decision that was made by Erika. And we can watch that. Take a look.
Oh, I love I love you.
Oh, what a horrible wife. Oh, she's so bad.
I love you. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
That is an incredibly personal and an incredibly intimate moment, that you invited the public into.
Okay.
There was no reason to do that.
Yeah, there was no reason to do that, but she chose to. Again, it doesn't mean you get untethered access. You get unlimited access to all of the moments. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this little piece to let you know that, A, this is real. This is really painful, whatever her choice was to do that in that moment. It doesn't mean you get to know where his final resting place is. You don't even get to know even if he hasn't been buried yet. It's none of your business. She set a boundary. Respect the boundary. You said you were going to stop talking about this woman if she asked you to, and she's done it.
Side of wanting to share something that was very private with the public. And now you fast forward 3 months removed, and it's why does the public want to know where he's buried? It doesn't work like that.
It does work like that. It absolutely works like that. Whether you're famous or not, it works like that. Hey, I gave you a video. I don't mean you're going to get everything. Doesn't mean you're required to know everything. And then also, it's a security issue for the most part. To some people, Charlie Kirk was evil. He was a bad person to some people. And you have radicals. I mean, look, they took his whole life on a live stream. So you think what? They're going to go to his grave and put flowers down? And as she said, yeah, my kid is over there praying, and here comes some monkey who decides, oh, well, I want to be a jerk today, even though I see a child praying over the grave. Yeah, and I want to go do something crazy. Why put yourself in a scenario where you don't have... She didn't say, hey, this is the address that I'm shooting this video of my husband and I. Like, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. And she shouldn't. She has the right to set boundaries, just like you do. If you lost somebody and you were like, hey, the boundary is this. Like what was your grandfather. When you lost your grandfather, if somebody was like, yeah, we want to know everything, and you're like, nah, cool, we chill, we good. That's your boundary. If you choose to share, good. If you don't, that's fine too.
You have to make a decision. I want this always to be private, or I want this always to be public. That's my personal feedback there.
That was the worst feedback you could give somebody. I'm going to tell you, give it all or give nothing. Because you know what? If she gave nothing, if we never saw that video, oh, Charlie's not really dead. Because, I mean, people are even still saying that, you know, he's still alive, even though we watched him get assassinated on live stream. Like, that's just something you can't make up. There was no Hollywood special effects involved in that. We all saw it on raw video, nothing edited, nothing, no AI, nothing. Yeah, when you literally have people walking around in Halloween costumes mocking her husband's assassination. Yeah, and you don't understand why you don't know where he's buried. People celebrating in Halloween costumes the murder of a human being. Whether you agree with him or not, you're celebrating somebody's death. Yeah, that's why you don't know where he's buried. Because we don't need any jerks, monkeys, subhumans, invading, infringing in spaces over a belief or over misinformation for the most part. He's a racist. He wasn't. He's a homophobe. He wasn't. He hated people. He didn't. He didn't. But I'm not here to convince you of that one way or the other. But I'm just saying he was a very polarizing figure, right, to some people. And so when you have that going on, you set those boundaries. for your safety, for your family safety. And guess what? His parents aren't famous. His in-laws aren't famous. I don't know if he had siblings, but if he does, they're not famous people. So yeah, their safety doesn't matter because he's Charlie Kirk, and you should have untethered access because you shared a video. What is going on here in these streets, bro? What were we doing? Nah, not cool. Not cool at all.
Later on in this same interview, she launches into a strong defense of Turning Point USA employees who have, just as a matter of fact, told many lies, many inconsistencies. These are verifiable. So they are currently lying to the public, or they have lied to the public, but she is going to deliver quite an impassioned defense.
Okay, whether they lied or not, they're about to address that on Monday. And they better address it on Monday. So whether they lied or not, this 6-minute interview wasn't the opportunity to go bullet point by bullet point who did what, right? So that wasn't the purpose of this of this 6-minute interview, right? It was just to touch on stuff, right? And I see some of the cult of Candace is in the chat. You people are pathetic. And when all of this shit falls apart, and I'm gonna explain to y'all later how she is gonna ruin this for y'all in the future, and she will be gone and on to the next thing, and I'm gonna laugh at y'all. Go ahead, Candace.
Regarding these particular individuals and the organization as a whole, and I want you to hear her passion. Take a listen.
What are they taking from you right now?
Nothing. But I will tell you what they are doing. It reminds me so much of chapter 6 in the book of Nehemiah. He is building a wall, and the townspeople are at the base of that hill saying, Nehemiah, calling him all these names, saying all these things, come on down. Every single time he had the same message 4 times in a row. I cannot come down. I am busy building. That is how I feel. I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole. Whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I'm sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. And I'm going to explain to you why I just do not accept any of that. First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Okay, she definitely has time, okay? She's done Hannity, she's done The Five, she's done Fox and Friends, she's done Outnumbered, she's done Megyn Kelly Live, she sat down with the New York Times, she made time.
Oh, so I'm working. That means she doesn't have time, Candace. Wait. If coming to see you is a priority, it should be a priority on her list. Why? For what? Coming to talk to you. Are you an investigator? I don't know. Are you one of the lead investigators on the case? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. Why does she need to come talk to you? Now, I do think she should have spoke up maybe a month ago. But that's my personal opinion. But for whatever reason, she did it. And she did it now.
By the way, in case you don't remember, to fly to DC for Sergio Gore to be sworn into the ambassador to India, as the ambassador to India, which feels...
Yeah. Wasn't that a friend of Charlie's? Why would that be weird? Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go there for that because, yeah, that's what you want to do when you're the CEO of Turning Point USA, right? You're the CEO of one of the most prominent conservative organizations to come along in years. Yeah, I'm going to be there. This was a friend of Charlie's. I'm going to go support that. Yes, absolutely. Why shouldn't she?
kind of obscure and not necessarily related to Turning Point USA.
Okay, obscure or not. I mean, which one is it?
Affairs, building affairs, or whatever it is. But sure, that's fine. I mean, obviously, you're also allowed to be a person, and if that's the homie and that's what you want to do, sure. But we are indeed speaking about a coast to coast flight to stand up to next to somebody and basically say, Charlie loved you. That was like the whatever 15-second speech that she gave, right?
Oh yeah, that's all she
here's
did.
Actually, we have a clip of that speech that she gave.
Well, he was also very good friends with a guy named Charlie. We just knew him as Charlie. And his wife, who we love so much, is here with us. And maybe, you know how close they were together. Maybe, Erika, you could say a couple of words, please.
I'm honored to, sir. Charlie loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that he would have been the first phone call when he found out that you were going to be taking this position. And the way that I was able to witness the two of you work together for years and to champion and support the president was absolutely humbling to witness, and I am so proud of you. And Charlie is going to be with you every single day in spirit, and I will be praying for you every day because I know that this is just the beginning of an incredible opportunity for you. And sir, thank you for allowing Sergio to have this beautiful moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie.
That's just
Okay, so this was a person that was important to Charlie. Charlie was the face, the name, the brand, the everything of Turning Point USA. He is unfortunately assassinated. Charlie would have been one of the first calls to congratulate this man on his new position. And yeah, why wouldn't she be there? Oh, because he doesn't have enough name recognition? That's a little really that's the excuse. Oh, you don't have enough name recognition. Well, clearly he's doing something. He earned the job.
ambassador to India swearing in ceremony. Again, if that's your friend and you want to be there, that makes sense.
Oh, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. At first, it was a bad thing, but now it makes sense. Okay, got it.
She's also a person, and she can decide what she wants.
Oh, now she has free will. She didn't have free will 15 seconds ago, but now she has free will. Okay, got it.
Do there, but the point that I am making is that's a coastal flight that she made.
Okay, so what? Why does this flight bother you so much? You're not making that coastal flight on Monday to go question the people who you are pointing the finger at killing Charlie. You're not making that coastal flight.
To be there to watch a paper get signed. She has also made time for an upcoming CBS News town hall sit down with Barry Weiss, which was filmed today. So Erika Kirk has time.
Yeah, she has time for what's important to her. Like I always say, we all make time for the things we want to do. Not necessarily the things we need to do or the people we don't, if we don't want to talk to you, then we just don't. Or if it's not time, we just don't. You do it. She does it. Everybody does it. I do it. Everybody other than the sound of my voice does it. So, yeah. Yeah, she has a schedule that's on steroids. Yeah.
She has time.
I mean, you had time to go to Dollywood and you had time to go to Tucker Carlson's holiday party while allegedly France was trying to kill you. You didn't address that on your show. Welcome.
It is just what she means to say, not her priority, which is...
Yeah, it's not a priority. You're not a priority. You're a menace. Yeah, you're a menace. Why should she make you a priority? And just because there are some questionable characters in Turning Point right now. Doesn't mean, first of all, nothing's going to happen to them or whatever. But there are good people at Turning Point. There are very good people at Turning Point USA. And so they should be subject to death threats because of one or two people there who have some questionable things that need to be investigated. Okay.
You are allowed to prioritize things in your own life, but this is not a matter of time constraint. It is not her priority to respond.
Okay, so we're gonna be petty. Got it. Okay, so she's gonna be petty here. Yeah. Because Erika didn't say it right. She didn't say it perfectly in the little 6 minutes she had to talk to Harris Faulkner. You didn't say it the right way, so Candace is gonna correct it for you. It's not a priority. Ooh, all this investigative journalism.
And to the majority, actually, the majority of people think of this as BS. The majority of people think Turning Point is acting suspicious.
Can we see a poll where the majority of people think this is BS? Where? I mean, I don't know. If I had a friend that I say I loved, and my friend started this amazing organization, and this organization has literally been more influential than anything of its kind in decades, and my friend suddenly gets assassinated on live stream, I'm going to try to burn down what my friend built in 3 months. Within 3 months of his death, I'm going to try to burn it down. Is that really your friend? I don't know. She's not grieving right. She's not crying here. She was too stoic here. She has on too much jewelry. She's wearing leather pants. She hugged the vice president the wrong way. When you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, just do what the hell you want to do. That's advice for everybody in life. That's advice I literally take myself. If I know that no matter what choice I make in this moment, you're going to be outraged, and I'm going to just do what the hell I want to do. And so if whatever I want to do in that moment pisses you off, so be it.
And she does not feel that it is what she wants to do as a matter of priority, responding. Okay.
Well, was it again, it wasn't a priority for you to address the fact that you was out chilling with the homies over Thanksgiving week after you told us you were almost got killed by friends. Am I missing something here? Why wasn't that a priority? Why wasn't that a priority? Why didn't your actions show the priority? Because if a country was trying to kill me, I'm canceling all social events. We're good. I can't go out right now. I can't go. France is trying to get me. Macron's, they're after me. I'm not going out right now. I'm chilling. I'm gonna go chill in the bunker. You know, I invite a couple of really close friends over and we'll have fun. That's it. But yeah, that wasn't addressed. Okay, well, moving on.
Okay, that's fine. Now, to that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars, I just don't get how there's not someone on this very large PR team as we're seeing these PR campaigns go out that doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. You know, like, you know, they made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. Oh, and we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know this is a fact, has made more than $100 million.
Okay, that's Turning Point USA. It wasn't Erika Kirk exclusively getting hundreds of millions of dollars. It's an organization, mind you, whom the leader of the organization was blown away on live TV. People are emotional. They want to help. They want to support. So yes, people are going to give. That's what they do during times of grief. Yes, organizations are going to fundraise. Why? Because there's been an uptick of requests for Turning Point chapters across the country. Do you think this comes together for free? So yeah. Why shouldn't the organization raise money? I mean, is the money Candace Owens raising? Are you giving it to an organization or are you pocketing it? because the last time I checked, you have maybe a staff of 4, you said? So yeah, the 4 people who work with you, they got to get paid, sure. And you got to get paid too. But after that, the rest of the money, you giving it to some conservative organization, or how that work exactly? There's a difference. Turning Point has a mission and a vision and a purpose that is public. And when their leader got assassinated, people wanted to help. It's not the same as us on YouTube. Well, I don't get paid to be on YouTube, but us on YouTube and those like you and those who are in the upper level of conservative content creating who've been bankrolling ever since September 10th. Been loaded. Money, 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 money. Which is fine. I ain't hating. I hate you. Make your money. But you can't compare yourself to an organization. That's their job. They have a development department to raise money. Is Turning Point USA a 501c3? Are they a nonprofit organization? No, they can't be because they're a political organization. I don't think. I don't know. But either way, whether they're political or whether they're 501c3 nonprofit or whatever, they're going to raise money, right? Because they have to pay. They have a staff. They have tours to fund. Right. They have consultants to pay. They have bills like everybody else. And because we're now in this heightened emotional state, in this heightened security state, you got to pay for more security, which isn't cheap. You just literally asked your followers to help you pay for security, did you not? Mind you, this is a woman with means. She can pay for security. But she knows, because when you know, from my experiences watching leaders of things like this, they ingratiate themselves, and then people who really, really like them will go to the ends of the earth. They'll give them the last $10, you know, to make sure they're okay. Meanwhile, this is the same person who said, I don't give a damn about the midterm elections. I don't care about none of that. And we'll go over that in a moment.
That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million.
They should have. They should have. Charlie Kirk was murdered. We want to see Charlie Kirk. People want to take Charlie Kirk's vision forward. No one can ever do it the way Charlie did it, but you want to see it continue to flourish. Not burn it to the ground, not destroy it. So yeah, there's no comparison to YouTubers exploiting Charlie Kirk's assassination versus the actual organization that his brainchild, literally being able to survive going forward. And now that you're attacking these people who are making maybe $90,000 a year, when you're making $90,000 a year, you can't pay for personal security. Hell, you'll be spending your whole salary on security. So yeah, they should have raised that amount of money. This is not the call out you think it is.
But gosh darn you people that are making hundreds.
It's not a let them eat cake moment. It's really not a let them eat cake moment. You tried, Candace, but it's not a let them eat cake moment.
Of dollars every day on YouTube talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination and the BS narrative that is being fed and the very obvious psychological operation.
Okay, just because somebody doesn't agree with you, because this is what cult leaders do. They think because you don't agree with them that somehow they trust the government. Let's be very, very clear. I have a lot of questions for the government, but I am willing to shut up and wait to see what they present at this man's trial, right? I'm willing to wait for that. And if it still looks crazy, if it don't look right, and if no other actors or players are pulled into this, because there's no way I believe personally that this Tyler Robinson person could have did this all on his own. I don't believe that person, just based on his image, I've never heard him talk. I heard him talk at that traffic stop. Yeah, remember where he never says vehicle and then he says vehicle at the traffic stop, but she cut that out of the show. Remember that? I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. So I've heard him talk once. I don't remember what his voice sounds like or whatever. I don't remember like mannerisms or anything, but I do remember saying to myself that I don't believe that he did this by himself. So whether it's a network of people, whether it's one or two other people, whether it was planned, how he was going to do it, all of that needs to be revealed for me. So just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm going along with what the government is saying or what the investigators are saying. I also respect the fact that it's an active and ongoing investigation. So because it's an active and ongoing investigation, that means there are things that they're not going to share with us. Why? Because you don't want to tip people off and you don't want to ruin it and you don't want to spoil the jury pool and all of that other stuff, right? So you got to know what to hold back and let people speculate and theorize and accuse you of not doing your job and all of that stuff. That happens all the time. We've all seen enough First 48 to know that happens all the time. You know, you got the mom of the person who died calling every week. What? Meanwhile, the investigators are drip by drip by drip by drip by drip putting this together, right? And so, yeah. But I don't think, my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, I don't think Turning Point USA had it in for Charlie Kirk or whatever, anything like that. I don't think his own security team set him up to die. I don't think any of that. Those are just rabbit holes that have not been substantiated. Now, if you produce something compelling, where I'm like, oh, like the Egyptian plane thing, I thought it was weird, but it was compelling, but it was still weird. But I would need a little bit more to buy into that. You know, I don't care enough to deep dive into that particular conspiracy, but I would need a little bit more to really latch onto it and run with it. You know, I'm not a blind cult member who's just going to take everything you say as the Holy Grail. Yeah. You know, so yeah, one does not mean the other is doing the right thing either.
That is being employed to make you accept the BS that they.
Nobody's making you. No one's doing that. No one's making anyone accept anything. It's called critical thinking. You listen to everybody. I listened to Turning Point when they addressed you, when they put the offer on the table for you to go to the live stream on Monday on the 15th. Yeah, I listened to that. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I understood why they were doing it. I understood why they wanted you there in 3D. You know, now you're gonna play. You moonwalked out of that, and now you're just gonna live react.
They are trying to sell to us. Gosh darn you. Did you make $1,000 today? Speaking about Charlie Kirk?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've made any money talking about Charlie Kirk, but that's not the point. I'm not Turning Point. I'm not a political organization. I'm an individual who wish I had a staff of 4. If I had a staff of 4, man, it'd be all types of things flying through the screen right now.
Well, you should be ashamed of yourself, says Turning Point USA.
That's not what they said. That's not what they said. And that's not how I interpreted it. But when you're literally, if you look at every thumbnail on this woman's channel, it's been Charlie Kirk since September 11th. That's the point that's being made here. And you're sending people down rabbit holes and you have people playing investigators, which is fine to come up with some compelling things. But are you reporting this stuff to the FBI? Are you telling the FBI? Are you going? I mean, you didn't even go through the proper channels for your own assassination attempt. What are we doing here? I'm a little confused. I'm just a little perplexed here.
Who, in large part, made that money because of those very people who gave to the organization immediately following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Mm-hmm. And the thing that is especially absurd about that is trying to almost like, I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk show is my family. You know, like she's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique because.
I didn't say you weren't allowed to critique them. It's one thing to critique somebody. I thought the dude, I don't know his name, but the dude that ran to the side right after Charlie got shot, he ran to the side and he turned his phone on. I thought that was weird as hell. Right? But it's one thing to say that that's weird as hell. and then say you're complicit in murder. Like, like it's totally different. It's totally different, right? Yeah, I thought when the security guy was on Sean Ryan's podcast, and he said that the police, I think the UVU police said that roof was secure, that they got that roof. When they said that, I said, and you didn't follow up? That was the first thing I said to myself. Even if they said they had it, you're getting paid a lot of money to protect this man's life. You didn't say, okay, did UVU show up for that roof? You're getting paid a lot of money to secure this man's person. And you mean to tell me you didn't send a follow-up? No, nobody sent a follow-up to UVU police and say, hey, is that roof secure? Yeah, I agree with you on some of this stuff, right? You know, and I think Sean Ryan should have pushed back on that point in that interview. Well, why didn't you send a follow-up the next day just to make sure? Or at the very least, have a couple of your guys sweep that area. And then if they saw nobody there securing it, hey, UVU, you said you was going to have some people on post over here. What was going on? So yeah, I get that. Yeah, ask questions. But when you start accusing people of murder, when you start saying they were betrayed by Charlie, that's not the same. It's not the same as asking questions or saying something was weird, right? Or I need a little more clarity on that because that was odd behavior. Yeah, it was odd to run. Like my instinct would never be, if I saw somebody just get blown away in front of me, is to turn on my phone and record myself. Yeah, that's weird. But again, we all react to trauma differently. So I can't say because you acted in a way that I wouldn't means that somehow you're guilty or you might have had a part in it. I don't know. Or because you weren't emotive as I would like you to be. Yeah. There's a lot going on in these streets.
They're in the family. If you call them fam, you can't critique them, right? Oh, I'm sorry. We actually are showing a clip of Rob McCoy defending a pedophile or trying to like launder the reputation.
Okay, call that out. Call that out. So because Rob McCoy did something weird, destroy the whole TPUSA, destroy it all, burn it to the ground.
That's fam. That's the
no. That's again. This is so petty. This is really, really petty. I don't think she was ever saying that you can't critique anybody. That's not what she said. That's not what she was referencing. And you know this. Candace knows this. But we got to keep the what they call them, mommy sleuths. We got to keep the mommy sleuths, digging through the crates.
CK show fam. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person in your organization is a sexual deviant.
Okay, if this person is a sexual deviant in your organization, call them out. But again, call them out. But that doesn't mean you burn the whole organization to the ground. No logical person is tracking this with this, right? Yeah, call that individual out. Why hasn't that individual been disciplined or fired? Yes, I can agree with you there. If that's what happened, I don't know. But if that's what happened, yeah, call that individual out. Make sure, they are reprimanded and or fired, right? Yeah. Because you're doing some crazy stuff that really don't go with the mission and the vision of this organization. So yeah, I get that. But again, why should Turning Point USA not receive donations? Why should folks stop supporting this organization? That's not grounds to stop supporting the greater mission and vision.
That's fam. Don't you get me upset. I know that this is a now $150 million in the last 3-month organization, and we employ tons of people, but you can't critique. You can't critique the fam. And
no, whatever. Is there something else she offered here? Because nobody's saying you can't critique them. I've critiqued them. They're very low energy. Like without Charlie on the Charlie Kirk show, it's his DNA runs through that show, and so therefore trying to replace him or continue the show, it's just not, obviously it's never going to be the same, but there's also no like comparable person who really is like, okay, I see the light in that person to really take this forward. I haven't seen that yet at Turning Point, or at least with the Charlie Kirk show.
I hate to say this, but I'm going to be very clear here. This is why there are many people who do not believe that women are equipped to lead companies, because
Oh, so now it's because she's a woman who was doing an interview, which was the main point of the interview was to promote the book. But she decided to take the 6 minutes to address some of the rumors, and because she didn't sit there stoic, and and just very monotone and very matter of fact and very business like, a woman shouldn't lead an organization. Now, I've been on the record. I have absolutely been on the record saying that I will probably never work for a woman again. Yeah, and that stands. Probably never, right? Meaning there's a strong chance that it'll never happen again. But if she is the right person, I could work for you. Because a lot of times there's a lot of emotions involved. In corporate America, there was a lot of emotion involved. I can agree with you down that line. But to apply this to her in this moment with this interview, when you want her to have this big public life after she watched her husband get blown away, she's taking care of her kids, and now she's the head of the company. Yeah, I'm not supposed to do anything. Again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If she sat there and talked to Harris Faulkner and she was just all business, yep, she killed him. Yep. She killed him. Done. She did it. Absolutely. She absolutely took this man out. Yeah. She showed no emotion. She didn't do anything. She just kept it to business. Again, it doesn't matter what this woman would have sat there and said. You all would have found a reason to degrade her, to disrespect her.
As what you are watching here is an unbelievably emotional response that is absent of any logic. Okay.
Oh, it's absent of any logic. I mean, she laid out the logic and there was some emotion in it, but it wasn't this unhinged, like, You're accusing people of murder, Candace. You're saying these people betrayed Charlie. You're saying they're murdered Charlie. And because you found some discrepancies in what they said, that does not a murder make. I'm sorry, it doesn't. This is why you have professional investigators. That's why professional investigators get paid the big bucks. Yeah, something in right. Okay, that didn't really happen. And how many times have you recollect a story and told it and then realize, oh, that never even happened? Yeah. Doesn't a murder make though? Doesn't make you a murderer. You might have misspoke. You might have flat out lied. Whatever you did, it's still not going to get you convicted in a court of law by a jury of your peers. Now, in public opinion, do what you want, but you're accusing people of a major crime. So yeah, that's why she's defending Turning Point USA. You're saying don't give to this godforsaken organization because there are a couple of people in there who are a little nefarious. So therefore, burn the whole thing down. So if you have a bad pipe in your house, do you hire a construction company to demolish your house, or do you replace the pipe?
If you really care about your team, answer the questions.
She will. And on Monday, when they answer the questions and you live stream and live react, that will be what Turning Point has to offer you. And if it isn't sufficient enough, then Nick Fuentes is going to step up and do what they couldn't do. But I do believe Turning Point USA will be very thorough on Monday. They will be very thorough. And this was a 6-minute interview. She couldn't get to every single detail and nook and cranny. It's a 6-minute interview. 6 minutes. Now, she may have done other interviews where they might be longer. She can go into a bit more detail. But this is just the what's the word? This is just the introduction. I like to call this the warning shot. This is the warning shot. So in that warning shot, she's telling you, all right, stop. She told you to stop. and you haven't respected, you didn't honor your own word, Candace. She said stop. Oh, but you said stop, but you didn't say stop how I needed you to say stop. So it was a stop asterisk. But you got to do it the way I want you to do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to stop because you didn't do it in the manner in which is sufficient for me to say that you and Turning Point USA didn't kill Charlie Kirk. All right, Sway. All right.
Okay. Just demystify the entire event. Answer, come out, sit down, answer the questions so people don't think Turning Point USA looks so suspicious. Don't try to like mom the organization and say, well, mother's upset because people are coming after her kids and all of this multi-million-dollar subsidiaries. That's my children. Okay. The multi-million-dollar subsidiaries, Turning Point, like Turning Point Action, all that, those are my kids. So you can't critique them.
That's not how I interpreted that. I interpreted that as we are a team who is dealing with a traumatic incident. We have to go forward. There's a tremendous amount of pressure and responsibility to carry the weight of the legacy of a man who has done in his short life a lot of things that most of us will never do in our lifetime. That's how I interpreted that. I didn't interpret it as I'm mom and you can't talk about my kids. That's not how I interpreted that. But okay, maybe you did.
Not a good idea. Okay. It may work in PR world. You guys, I know how it's an obvious PR campaign. It's never been more obvious of a psychological operation. I actually wish they would put me on payroll so I could help them make these things look more organic.
So right there is, ladies and gentlemen, where you start to tell on yourself. So are you saying, and I'm just asking a question. Remember, we're allowed to ask questions around these parts. So Candace, are you asking, are you saying that what you're presenting to us is very well choreographed and very well staged to the point that it's so convincing that you have accrued millions and millions of people onto your mission and vision, and it may or may not be real? Because I mean, the history speaks for itself. I mean, Blexit, Turning Point USA, PragerU, Daily Wire, it's just pop, 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 pop. And even before that, before you became a conservative, it was a little awkward, the history. So it just sort of seems like you just move wherever the money is, which is, if you want to make money moves, make money moves. I ain't mad at people who make money moves, but don't act like it's in the name of something great. Because remember, black people are supposed to Blexit the Democrat Party, right? Remember, black people to Blexit. So I don't know. Yeah.
Then having every single person that has been telling us to stop asking questions all make the exact same video within 4 seconds.
No. Nobody said stop asking questions. Stop. Nobody. I ask questions about the investigation. Everyone can ask questions about the investigation, but I'm never going to say, hey, you, Candace, you betrayed Charlie. He came to me in a dream. Hey, Candace. Yeah, because you didn't answer this in the way that I would or most people in my life would. So therefore, that means you could probably be implicated in some way. Or, you didn't quite tell the truth on this one point in the 20 minutes you spoke to somebody. So therefore, that means there's something nefarious going on here. I mean, like, it's okay to ask questions. We all ask questions. But there's a fine line between questions and accusations and saying somebody did something definitively with no proof. Not the same.
Seconds of each other being like, whoa, Erika Kirk shuts down no, she didn't even respond to one.
It was a 6-minute interview, and I never thought she shut down anybody. It's just like she addressed it finally. That's all I said. She addressed it, and I think that's what most people are like. She addressed it, but whether some people are like, yeah, Erika Kirk goes off on Candace Owens. No, I don't agree with that. That's not what happened here. But what absolutely happened here, she finally, because it's called the build up to Monday. So from now until Monday, you're gonna get a build up to the live stream that they're going to do on Charlie Kirk's podcast. So this is called the build up, Candace. You know this. You're in media.
The conspiracies. She gave us emotion. She gave us emotion.
She gave you emotion, and she gave you reality, and she gave you what you kind of do, a drip, you know, a little drip, a little crumb here, a little crumb here, a little crumb here, a crumb here, right? It was a very limited interview. It was on a corporate news network. It wasn't like she had a 3-hour sit down with Joe Rogan or something.
She said, I'm a mother, I am a wife, and we never asked about whether she was mother or wife. We want to know if she is a CEO and a chairman.
Was that what the interview was about? The interview was about, tell me about you being a CEO and a chairman? Or was the interview about the book and addressing some of the conspiracy theories around the murder of her husband? That's what the interview was about, right? So I don't know anyone whose spouse died in any way would be interviewed not about the business of something, but about the rumors swirling around their partner's death, who would not have some type of emotion in that moment, or some type of expression or inflection or anything. So I don't think she was being. I did not get hyper emotional woman from this. I really didn't. You know, if the interview was to focus on Turning Point USA and the steps forward, and how you as the CEO have been sorting through all of this stuff, and she's up there crying, yeah, I might have a little like, come on, this is not the moment to cry. But we're talking about accusing people of murdering someone. Yeah, she's addressing something, and you're talking about where her husband is buried and why are we worried about this. That's her boundary. She has the right to say, you don't need to know that right now. Maybe one day, I'm sure somebody will find out eventually, and that's fine. But right now, let that family have their moment with their loved one. That's it. So whether you find out in a year, 5 years, 2 minutes from now, who cares? But for right now, let her have that. So it wasn't this, she wasn't this out of control wackadoodle woman who was, that's not what was happening here. I've been, when I was in corporate America, I've been in those meetings with those type of women. And I'm sitting here like, why are we taking this personal? This is work. You know, this is work, you know. And being in corporate America, losing a parent, losing a best friend, I was there through all of that. I showed up, did what I had to do. And so did other people. People have lost people, male and female, at that job. So yeah, this wasn't the moment for her to be the super boss. This was the moment for her to push back on some crazy things that have been said about her and her organization, and not even really go into it because, again, it was a limited amount of time.
And a CEO and a chairman has to compartmentalize. A CEO
has to what? Wait, what? Come on, mama, who? Mama say, mama sama, ma pusa. What happened?
Whether she was mother or wife, we want to know if she's a CEO and a chairman.
She is.
And a CEO and a chairman has to compartmentalize.
Oh, compartmentalize. Is that what she meant to say? I think that's what she meant to. Look. I mispronounce words. You mispronounce words. She mispronounced words. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what she's trying to say here.
A CEO and a chairman cannot respond to valid questions and critiques about finances, about shady actions that are being taken.
Wait, did Harris Faulkner address finances? Where's finances discussed? Oh, you mean the part where she called out you for milking her husband's murder? Or the other YouTubers who are milking her husband's murder? I mean, look. Yes, this is an in-depth sit down with Harris Faulkner. It was a 6-minute interview on a greater talk show.
By people that require presidential pardons, people that are meaningfully asking why we are not getting a clear answer of what took place on September 10th. A CEO, okay, does not get to respond and say, that's my family. Okay, that's the energy of what I would expect from a mother speaking to a teacher, which I was this mom, like that's my kid. Okay. And I'll shut this down right now. That's my child. This is not a child. Turning Point USA is an organization, and Erika already had an uphill battle to climb. Like that, she had to climb this because, by the way, just because if this was Goldman Sachs and the president of Goldman Sachs or a managing director over at Goldman Sachs died in a horrifically violent way, the Goldman Sachs family might mourn for a couple of months, but they would have instantly had someone to replace that individual. And beyond that, they would have never accepted the public and the people that are investing money. They would have never accepted, well, he's gone, but here's his wife.
We're comparing Goldman Sachs to a conservative Christian organization. Again, it's not even in the same sphere. They're not even in the same sphere. We don't know what was in Charlie's paperwork. We don't know if there was a succession plan and Erika was supposed to be made to fill his shoes as best she could. We don't know that. We were told that, and maybe that was his wish. If something should happen to me, she knows everything. I don't think I'm sure if I looked up some major companies, that has probably happened before, where the CEO's wife takes over. I'm sure that's not a unique situation. It might not be all the time, but I'm sure it's happened before. I'm pretty sure if I looked it up, I would find something. But is there anything else here that I need to work with before?
Already had a hill to climb here, right? Like this does not make you qualified because you love someone to take on their job. I am not qualified.
I don't think she took on the job because she loved him. I think she took on the job because when it was your show actually, where they said, where you said, hold on, I can't find it right now, but you said on your show that they asked Erika Kirk, what does she know? And you said, she said everything. I know everything. And you agreed. You agreed. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You agreed. She does know everything. I wish I could find that clip right now, but I know it was your show. You literally agreed. Now it's a psyops. And she's too emotional. I've worked with emotional women. Erika's a fighter. Erika's she's a fighter. I know a fighter when I see him.
To do what my husband does. That's why I said I wouldn't want to be the CEO and the chairman of a company. Actually, there's a great clip of Jordan Peterson asking that very question. Like, why do women want to be? Like, why would you want to have? It's actually a lot of work and it's very stressful and it's a lot of numbers and you're crunching numbers and you have to be everywhere. Okay. If you want that.
Except you can't go to the White House if your dead husband's friend gets a promotion. You can't do that. Because, then, you're supposed to be making time for the podcaster who's talking smack.
Great. If you built the company and you're in the room like Charlie Kirk did, and you have proven to the public, like, hey, I built this company. I didn't even go to college and I've been doing this for over a decade as Charlie Kirk did. You've earned that street cred. Okay. So she already had a hill to climb because now they're saying, well, this is his wife.
She's still climbing the hill technically because it's only been 3 months. And I don't even remember how long after Charlie was assassinated she was actually announced to CEO. It was like a week later, maybe, or something like that. Maybe a week or two later, she was announced as the CEO. So it hasn't even really been for a full 3 months, Isn't that like the grace period for most corporate jobs? It's like 3 months, see if we like you, see if this is gonna work, or we just part ways, And if it doesn't work, she can simply step down, we don't know what the future is going to hold in terms of that.
And so that's it. Well, now you're going to have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman and not just a wife who we expect emotion from. And you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get.
I don't think that's what happened, but again, this is speculation. She forgot to say that. The lawyer didn't tell her in her ear.
To respond to, well, in this case, investors, donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work this way, okay? And the broader point removed from Erika, which a lot of these mockingbird influencers seem to be making, is essentially they're saying to us that scientific inquiry and investigation in and of itself is now patently wrong, right? Essentially, we should just trust the state. Don't believe your own instincts. Don't believe your own eyes. Don't ask any questions. And I really want to stress to you guys how utterly ridiculous that logic is.
Okay, so I went over that already. Just because you don't rock with what Candace is saying doesn't mean you have the full trust of the state, or you put your full trust in the state. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. So we've gone over that, and I don't know anybody. I've seen no creator, big, small, or in otherwise, who has said on their platform that I 100% believe what the state is doing with this case. I've not seen one. If you know of any, show me them. I trust the government 100%. Especially if you're a conservative, you're not trusting the government 100%. We've seen what they've done to figures in the past. We've seen it. But again, I'm waiting for the trial. I want to see what's presented. I want to see how this actually plays out. And it's fine to ask questions. It's fine to say that this doesn't look right or this doesn't sound right. Again, I've said that already.
Right? Because if we follow that logic in any other situation, there would never be a crime solved ever. Okay? If we just ascribe to the idea that scientific investigation is on its face.
Scientific investigation? I don't know. I stopped watching last week. So was there a scientific investigation that I missed, y'all? Was it the dream? Was it the old text messages? I mean, I don't know. Where was the scientific investigation? Where did I miss it? Maybe I missed that episode. Somebody put me on in the comments.
It's wrong. It would not work. I'll give you a crappy analogy here, but imagine if there's like some young mother and she dies suddenly in the middle of the night, presumably in the middle of the night, and her husband is the first one to report it in the morning, and the cops show up who happen to be his buddies. They get there, and then they dramatically close the case in 48 hours, and neighbors are like, wait a minute. Excuse me, officers, actually, you might want to know some other facts here.
I don't know anyone who's not saying that or who didn't say that at the time, especially. We were like, wait a minute, it's just this one dude. Nah, there has to be a couple of there's some other components here, But like Erika also said, when her team gets leads, they send it to the authorities. Look into this, and then you follow up with the authorities. Hey, did you look into that? Whatever came of that, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, nobody is saying the state is perfect, especially as conservatives. No one's saying we trust the state. We love the state so much that we're just going to, yep, everything you say, okay. I haven't seen that person. If you have seen that creator who says they trust the state, under no uncertain terms, the state is perfect and got it right. They got the right guy and that's it. There's nothing else to consider here. Send me their content. Please send me their content. Send me their work. Because I met this person. Everybody got questions about this case, but there's a difference between asking questions and accusing people of capital murder. Not the same.
About this guy, like, he's in the mafia. these people would be like, how dare you question the people closest to, he loved her, that's his wife. Being a gang member is not evidence. Why are you saying he's a gang member? It's not evidence. And you get another nosy neighbor who produces evidence that in the middle of the night before she died, they saw the guy outside, the husband outside, removing cameras in the front yard. Well, that's not evidence. Yeah, but I saw him.
Yeah, that was a crappy analogy. Is there anything else I can work with here?
Weeks following this sudden death event. And yeah, we have some questions. So we're not going to accept Tim Pool jumping on the airwaves with big estrogen energy.
I think Tim Pool really pissed her off. I think he pissed her off more than she's putting on. I don't agree with Tim Pool calling her names. I will never agree with that. I don't agree with that. I mean, just push back on what she's saying. There's never, when you're in a good debate with somebody, you never have to attack the person, right? You don't have to attack the person. If you know your stuff, if you know how to push back on what they're saying, you don't ever have to attack her. I have no personal investment in Candace Owens. We're not friends. I don't know this woman. I saw this woman one time at a Blexit event in Los Angeles. That's it. Didn't have no pictures with her, never talked to her, nothing, So Tim Pool got under her skin.
Telling us we're evil because we have like school board elections next Thursday. We're the nosy neighbors. We don't care.
And yes, continue to be nosy. No. I encourage you to continue to be nosy. Yes, continue to be nosy. But do it responsibly. That's all out. That's been my whole thing this whole time. You can ask questions. We're all going to ask questions. We're all going to probe and try to get to the bottom of things. But it's one thing to investigate. It's another to point the finger. And then when the people you point the finger at say, pull up, come up, roll up. Let's have an actual conversation. Come talk to us. Anytime, any place. Y'all have it anywhere. That's how I roll. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mean. All right, cool. December 15th, 2:00 Central Time. Nah, I can't really do that. And I didn't know it was in person, even though you said you wanted to be in person in your video, but in person. And then you dropped it at midnight. So that was really bad. Who cares what time they asked or they dropped the tweet? I don't care if they dropped it at midnight, at noon, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 p.m. Who cares? These are irrelevant logistics. Irrelevant. They never said they were going to consult you, Candace. They said, we're going to set up the live. And if you can pull up, if you can show up. If you could, and then I believe it was, I believe it was along the lines of, if you can show up to the studio in Phoenix, something like that, dude said. And so, yeah, it was clear that they wanted you in person in the studio. Because there's a difference, it's easy to do these live streams on video, whatever. And really quickly too, I saw two creators yesterday talking about, well, it's good she doesn't go there because for her safety. What are they going to do? Assassinate Candace Owens on the air? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, really? You're accusing me of murder, and then I'm going to then do the very thing on the air? Like, come on now. There's literally going to be cameras from the moment Candace Owens leaves her house following her all the way to the venue, wherever they put her up, and then all the way back to the airport after she does the interview. Literally everything's going to be documented. And she's going to have security with her, I'm pretty sure. So there's no, I never got that there was an issue with safety, in my opinion, just my opinion, that there was a safety issue. It wasn't a safety issue. Because when you have safety issues involved, you don't say anytime, any place. No, you don't say that. No. Because if I have safety issues, I'll be like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not doing it in person. I make all that clear up front. I'm not doing it in person. Don't try to drop it during my podcast time. Don't, all of that. Be clear, be upfront with people. But yeah, they dropped the time, you started moonwalking. And all of a sudden, I can't do it. It's during my time. So now, yeah, the people tell me to just react. So we're going to be passive aggressive about this after we've been aggressively pushing for these people to talk to us. And now we're just going to react to them as opposed to talk to them and have that conversation, have that dialogue, be able to look in their eyes and really get down to the bottom of this. Otherwise, it just continues and continues and continues. And quite frankly, I think we just have more important things to talk about at this point. Speaking of which, now I'm not talking about the casual Candace supporter here. I know the casual Candace supporter, you take it with a grain of salt. You work with her, you know, you don't you don't bless the ground she walks on, you know. You're not if you meet her in person, you're not going to kiss her feet like that woman kissed Jasmine Crockett's feet. I'm not talking about the people who can use discernment and are critical thinkers. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ones who probably I didn't read the comments yet, but the ones who probably have come in the comments yelling and screaming and calling people names and all that. I'm talking about those people, the cult members. Right. And I don't ever want cult members. I'm good. You know, I'm flawed. She's flawed. Everyone's flawed. You're being set up to fail here. Okay, she's allegedly she was political, right? She's a political commentator. A political commentator is saying don't care about the midterm elections. So now you're trying to set up President Trump to become a lame duck president. That's what it sounds like. So now you set up Trump to become a lame duck president, and or because if the Democrats take back the House and the Senate next year, they're going to impeach Trump on something. They're going to find something, you know, anything. He sneezed this morning. Impeach him. And then you knock him to the side. You get J.D. Vance in there. Make J.D. Vance the lame duck president, and then he has no chance in 2028 because he can't get anything passed. So then now you have, say, Governor Gavin Newsom. He's coming after y'all asses first, the regular people, because that's what the Democrats come for first. They come for the regular people. So they're going to set, you know, all his IRS, you know, IRS is pushed back a little bit. You know, everyone's about to file their taxes under this one big, beautiful bill. Y'all going to get all these write-offs and all these credits. Yeah, all of that is going to come roaring back because y'all were so emotional that you couldn't see the forest before the trees. You were so wackadoodle and so out there that you couldn't say to yourself, wait, no. We still got to make sure, even though Republicans aren't perfect, no political party is perfect, but I'm not going to bastardize my interests because we're still investigating this over here. So yeah. Republican voters, get it together. Because President Gavin Newsom is going to throw everything. He's going to throw the IRS and every other three-letter agency at the regular people first. And who do you think is going to be on to the next phase in her career, unbothered by anything you're going through? Oh! Logic, people. Use your common sense. Career opportunity after career opportunity, career opportunity after career opportunity. Okay, cool. And then when she moves on to the next phase of her career and y'all are left here scrambling about what happened to Charlie Kirk, but you were arrested because you didn't pay your taxes in 12 years. Yeah, that type of stuff. Yeah, they're going to come after you hard. Democrats are ready for revenge. And so, yeah, this leftist who, before she became a conservative, had a doxing site. This conservative who I heard another creator say this morning that she scammed her way into the conservative movement. I'm not quite there yet. So I'm not going to say she's a fraud or a scam artist, but I will say I'm giving it a bit of side eye at this point. I will say that I'm giving it a bit of side eye. And I truly believe once Charlie Kirk's corpse is no longer profitable, she'll be on to the next thing. And then we will have a Republican Party that's in shambles. We'll have a conservative movement that's in shambles. And then we'll have Democrats throwing around all kinds of wild legislation to go forward. So, yeah, To the larger conservative creators, y'all need to get some balls. Some balls. I don't know, y'all, Megyn Kelly, you said you got into independent media to truly say it like you mean it. I need you to say it like you mean it, Miss Kelly. I really do. Yeah. One of the top podcasts. You're one of the top podcasts in all of the land. I need you to step up. I need you to really say it like you mean it. Brandon Tatum, I have been watching, and in the same Blexit event that I saw Candace, I actually got to talk to Brandon Tatum. I think I even took a picture with him. I should have pulled it up. But I got to talk to Brandon Tatum, and he really took the time to talk to me. He didn't, oh yeah, hi, whatever, thanks for being here. He stopped and was gave me, and he was busy, so he didn't have to. Tatum, I understand. Sometimes you got to have difficult conversations with your friends. You do. Listen, I don't know what this is. I don't know why it is, but we got to have a really difficult conversation right now. Yeah. And even if we come out, you can agree. If you can't have a difficult conversation with your friend, they're not your friend. If I can't say, hey, can we talk? And then not, it can get heated, it could get spirited, it could get emotional, all of those things. But if at the end of the day, I don't have your back because of a disagreement we had, was that ever really your homie? I don't know. Now, I know y'all came up through the ranks, through Blexit and all that other stuff, and that's cool. But if you're the Christian man you claim you are, Mr. Tatum, yeah, I'm going to need you to have that difficult conversation with your friend if you haven't had it already. Have that difficult conversation, and whatever is whatever is. And in terms of I don't know what it is, because I don't have any real true friend who, if we fell out, that they would start exposing text messages and things we talked about. I don't know. I'm not that kind of friend. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. But no friend that I've fallen out with thus far has been yeah, this is what he said privately, which I don't care. I'll own up to everything. But who else? Michael Knowles. I don't know. Benny Johnson. Those type of folks. Y'all have these massive platforms, and I'm not saying go Tim Pool on Candace Owens. Do not go Nick Fuentes, Tim Pool on her. But there has to be a correction, right? None of us are above reproach in terms of having a difficult conversation, a respectful, difficult conversation, right? Yeah, you can have a respectful conversation that doesn't necessarily feel the best, but sometimes you just need to hear it, right? Otherwise, it's just cowardice. Otherwise, you're just, I don't know for what reason you think you're going to lose followers. You think you're going to lose subscribers. You think you're going to lose profit. You think your companies are going to start. I don't know what y'all think that is. But if you are truly the conservative warriors that y'all claim y'all are, and y'all not, especially Megyn Kelly, I've listened to you. I've listened to you say you love independent media because you have this freedom to say it like you mean it and talk about the things you want to talk about and address the things in the way that you feel they should be addressed. So this cushy Candace, she hasn't said that to me, and she's not a friend. If she's not a friend, that's even more reason to have to be able to say, hey, this doesn't look right, this doesn't sound right. Or it's one thing to question, it's another thing to accuse people of flat out murder. See the difference? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna need those larger conservative creators. I'm gonna need y'all to really step up. And if she's not open to having the difficult conversation, that's on her, right? But if you never initiated, that's on you. I'm looking at you. I'm like, yeah, I just like Candace, I just don't want to we like brother and sister. Yeah, I got plenty of people I'm like brother and sister with, but if I can't tell you your shit stink, why are we friends? If I can't tell you something didn't look right or sound right, or yeah, if I can't do that, then why are we friends? Oh, so when everything is up and great, we're great. Okay, how about when it's not great? How about when we do fall out about something? Oh, does that mean I'm dismissed forever? Oh, okay, then we were probably never really friends. And another thing that I heard, right quick before we get out of here, because I know we are way over time. I think this is probably my longest live stream ever, and I'm not a gabber, so the fact that I'm doing this is pretty like fun. But Black conservative creators. So I was watching a live stream yesterday. I think it was Angela Stanton King and Shamika Michelle. It actually wasn't a live stream because I didn't watch the live stream, but I saw like posts. And one of the posts Angela Stanton posted, she put up, it was you know, a lot of Black conservative creators, you know, owe a debt to Candace. She opened the door. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, acting like she's like Rosa Parks, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute, because I remember what is her name? Sunny Johnson. I remember a lot of conservative creators, like those real, like, you know, really to the street type ones, were like, nah, I was doing this long before she came along. And then you found a palatable person who could really drive the message to the mainstream, right? Because it's kind of like music. You have people who are on the fringes, but then you have that one artist that comes along where you can really push them over into the mainstream, and that's kind of what Candace was, right? And so, but now this sort of idea that, well, not me, because I was a conservative long before her, before Candace always came along, but that certain creators, maybe like a Brandon Tatum and others like that, owe a debt to her. And so therefore they can't push back on anything she says. That's the stupidest logic I've ever heard in my life. Just because somebody helps you professionally does not mean you can't say, hey, what's going on here? Or disassociate yourself, whatever you choose to do. And if you disassociate yourself, say, yeah, you know what? I'm grateful for, you know, person X putting me on. I'm grateful for the opportunity you provided, but I'm not going to worship you forever. And also, when you help people, don't be like, oh, worship me forever. Hey, I helped you. Remember, you wouldn't have this if it wasn't for me. No. That's not why you help people, right? And especially if you're calling yourself Christian, Catholic, or whatever it is this week. Yeah, you really don't operate in that vein. So, yeah, these attacks on Turning Point is pretty much, in my opinion, it's demonic. It's not of God. Because if you had real proof, you would give it to authorities. You wouldn't come on a podcast and drip, slow drip information to people, and then have people around here like, yo, you're saying that I killed somebody. Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool. Questions are one thing. I murdered? Nah, no. So yeah, hold the line, TPUSA on Monday. Y'all better bring it. Y'all better be on that live stream, ready to go. I'm not playing with y'all. Do not go up there. Well, I just want to talk. No. Address it head on. Drive into that mofo at 90 miles per hour and crash the whole thing. That's it. That's your moment. Because if you don't do that, yeah, it's not going to look really good. And then we got to hear from Nick Fuentes, who has a lot of cool things to say sometimes, but he's just the wrong messenger to be delivering it. But anyway, so yeah, that's all I got to say on that. So hopefully this is one of the last times I have to talk about this whole situation, and we can get actually back to the business of politics and not the business of conservative infighting and civil war and drama. Because if everybody just shut up and just handle things responsibly, we won't be sitting here with all of this kerfuffle being messy. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching today. I really, really appreciate y'all. If you would like to support the channel, you can head on over to AJsRANTroom.com. That's AJsRANTroom.com. That's my merch store. You can get this God Got Me shirt. We have everything over there, so go check it out. Appreciate it. If you would like to buy me a coffee, you can scan that QR code or go to buymeacoffee.com/AJsRANTroom. Anyway, and also we do cash apps as well. You can scan that QR code or go to AJ's Rant. You'll see the AJ's Rant Room logo. Anything else is a fraud, so don't send it to anybody else. Tomorrow night, So this is the Friday for the Lunchtime Rant. So tomorrow night, my baby podcast. This is the podcast that I really love doing. It's called a Rant Experience. It's like a variety show. We do politics. We have uncomfortable conversations. There's a playlist on here. There's a podcast playlist for the Rant Experience. Go subscribe to that. It's not at noon. It's at 8 p.m. So it'll be tomorrow at 8 p.m. And so support that. And I have no idea what we're talking about tomorrow. I haven't even started brainstorming on the show, but I will after I'm off here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Hopefully I was clear. Even if you don't agree with me at the end of the day, there's no reason to be disrespectful. There's no reason to, to act like wild, unhinged subhumans over one human being. Because I'm flawed, she's flawed, you're flawed, we're all flawed. We're all walking around here with something. Okay, cool. All right. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Peace.